a shepherd boy who used to watch a flock of sheep in the hills. The boy felt bored being alone all day, so he thought of a trick by which he could get some fun. One day the boy shouted, "Wolf, wolf!" Then all the villagers came running to help. He laughed at them for being fools, for there was no wolf at all. The boy repeated this trick once more. The next day again the villagers ran his help. To find that day he had been fooled. One day a wolf did come and began to attack the sheep. The boy shouted, "Wolf, wolf!" as loud as he could. But the villagers, thinking the boy was tricking them once again, paid no attention to his cries for help. And so the wolf killed all the sheep. The shepherd boy was sorry and promised never to lie again. One day a dolphin saved a drowning monkey in the sea and took him to the shore. The monkey thanked him as he landed near the shore. "May I know who you are?" asked the monkey. The dolphin said that he was the king of the sea. He asked the monkey who he was, and the monkey wanted to impress him, so he replied that he was the prince of the forest on the beach. The dolphin delightfully said that he was no longer the prince, as the king of the forest had died and the monkey had become the new king. The monkey got worried as he had to take responsibilities to the forest and animals. Nassim was a knight, but he didn't like to ride and he didn't like to fight. Nassim liked to read and he liked to knit. One night there was a knock at the door. "I need you to fight a dragon," cried King Karim. "But I am the wrong kind of knight," said Nassim, "and I don't like fighting." "Never mind," cried the king. "Hurry up." "But the dragon is in my bed," cried the king. Nassim's knees were knocking. He lifted the blanket and saw the tiny dragon. The dragon's knees were knocking too. "I'm freezing," he said. "Fight him," cried the king. "No, I'm the wrong kind of knight," said Nassim, and began to knit. Nassim was very quick at knitting. He knitted some vests, some socks, and some long knickers. The dragon was delighted. "Thank you," he said, and off he went. "I think you are the right kind of knight," said the king. A long time ago, there lived a man called Noah. Noah was a very good man who trusted in God. There were also many wicked people in the world. God wanted to punish the wicked people. So he said, "Noah, I shall make a flood of water and wash all the wicked people away. Build an ark for your family and all the animals." Noah worked for years and years and years to build the ark. At last, the ark was finished. Noah and his family gathered lots of food. Then the animals came two by two, into the ark. When the ark was full, Noah felt a drop of rain. It rained and rained and rained. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The world was covered with water. At last the rain stopped and the sun came out. Noah sent a dove to find dry land. The dove came back with the leafy twig. "Hurrah!" shouted Noah. "The flood has ended." But many more days passed before the ark came to rest on dry land. When Noah and all the animals came safely out of the ark, and life began again on earth. Little Goldilocks was playing in the forest. She saw a little cottage. Goldilocks went in. She saw 3 bowls of porridge on the table. Goldilocks ate some porridge from the big bowl. It was too hot, so she ate some porridge from the middle bowl. It was too cold. But the porridge in the small bowl was just right. Goldilocks ate it all up. Goldilocks was tired. She went up to the bedroom. She saw 3 beds. Goldilocks lay down on the big bed. It was too hard. Then she lay down on the middle bed. It was too soft. But the small bed was just right. Goldilocks lay down on the bed and fell asleep. The cottage belonged to the 3 bears. They came home as she lay sleeping. "Who tasted my porridge?" said Papa Bear. "Who tasted my porridge?" said Mama Bear. "Someone tasted my porridge. They ate it all up," cried Baby Bear. "Woo-hoo!" The bears went up to the bedroom. "Who Who lay on my bed? Said Papa. Who lay on my bed? Said Mama. Somebody lay on my bed. She's still sleeping in it, cried Baby Bear. Goldilocks woke up. She saw the three bears. They looked angry. Goldilocks was frightened. She ran home. She ran out of the cottage. She ran home. Mother Goat was going to the market. Don't open the door till I return, she said to her kids. A little later there was a knock at the door. Open the door for your mother, kids, said someone. Mother Goat has sweet voice. Your voice is not, cried the kids. They are right. It was at the door. The wolf drank some honey, make his voice sweet. Open the door for your mother, he said again. No, mother has white paws, but your paws are black, cried the kids. The wolf put flour on his paws to make them white. Open the door for your mother, he said again. The kids saw the wolf's paws. They were white, so they opened the door. At once the wolf came in. The 7 kids were frightened. They ran and hid themselves. The wolf found its skin. He gobbled them up. The 7th kid had hidden in the clock. The wolf did not see him. Soon Mother Goat came back. The 7th kid came out of the clock. He told his mother about the wolf. Mother Goat went out to look for the wolf. She found him sleeping under a tree. Mother Goat cut open the wolf's belly. The 6 kids popped out. Mother Goat filled the wolf's belly with stones. Then she closed it up again. The wolf woke up thirsty. He went to a well to drink water, but the stones in his belly were heavy. The bad wolf fell into the well and drowned. The monkey and camel. Once all the animals of the forest gathered for an evening entertainment. The various animals took turns to perform. The monkey danced from one branch to another. The animals liked his performance very much. They kept on cheering him for a long time. Now the camel was very jealous that everyone had praised the monkey's dance so much. He also wanted to be praised. So he stood up there and started moving up in a silly manner. The animals did not like the dance. Neither he twirled nor twisted in a fit or fury. The animals started beating him with clubs and drew him out of the gathering. The camel learned his lesson. Once upon a time there lived a little girl who always wore a red cap. It was a gift from her grandmother. The grandmother, everybody called her Little Red Cap. One day her mother said, here are some cake and a bottle of juice. You for your grandmother. Go and give it to her. She lives in the woods. Always remember, never talk to strangers. On her way, she met a wolf. Good day, Little Red Cap. Where are you going? Asked the wolf. To meet my grandmother, replied the girl, and walked on. She reached her grandmother's house and told her about the wolf. The grandmother said, we will close the door and so that he won't be able to come in. Soon afterwards, the wolf knocked on the door and said, open the door. Look what gifts I have for you. Both remained quiet and did not open the door. The cunning wolf searched around the house to find a way in. Then he hid in the roof and waiting for the red cap to leave. He wanted to eat her in the darkness of night. In front of the house was a big water trough. That was as the grandmother came out to see Little Red Cap off, she noticed the wolf's reflection in the trough. The grandmother said loudly, Little Red Cap, I made some sausages yesterday. Put them in the trough. They will remain fresh. Little Red Cap filled the trough with with sausages. The delicious smell of sausages made his mouth water. He stretched his neck far and long to sniff and feed down. Losing his balance, he fell into the trough and drowned. The grandmother filled the trough with mud and buried the wolf. She bade a safe farewell to Little Red Cap. On a walk, Flinto hears a bird song. Could it be that blackbird? No, it's that small green bird, says Crow. Could it be that small green bird? No, it's that brown bird, says Parrot. Could it be that small brown bird? No, it's that group of birds, says Owl. Could it be that group of brown birds? No, it's that group of parrots, says Myna. There, just there, whom does Flinto see? Not one but many small brown sparrows. They are chirping together a sweet song. Careless Sarah, a girl called Sarah was very careless. She threw her things around and made a mess. Mom and Dad explained to her every day, for your carelessness you will have to pay. She took out her clothes and never put them back. Her clothes were falling off the rack. One day she took out her toys from the basket and without putting them back and went to the market. In the evening when she came back, she stepped on a toy and it cracked. Its sharp edge went right into her left shoe. She took off her shoe and saw blood on her toe. She cried and shouted a lot in pain, but no one heard her cry. It was all in vain. The doctor put her a bandage on her wound that day. For the next 2 days, she will not go to play. Sarah learned a lesson that day onwards. She put her clothes back in and cleaned her cupboard. She threw her sweet wrappers in the dustbin and after playing, put her toys back again. All this had become Sarah's daily routine. Now her room looked very neat and clean. Tim and Sam race. Who will win? Tim has fans, Sam has fans. Go, they go. Tim naps. Sam can pass Tim. Tim can pass Sam on a bike. Tim is in a fix. Tim can fix the bike. Sam can pass Tim. Tim can pass Sam in a van. Tim is in a jam. Sam can pass Tim. Tim can pass Sam on a boat. Tim is in a fix. Sam can pass Tim. Tim can pass Sam in a big rig. The rig is too big. Sam can fit. Tim hits the ring. Sam wins. Once upon a time there lived a king. One day he went swimming with his queen. The queen left her jewelry with the maid and watched. A monkey was watching this. She was attracted to the queen's necklace of pearls. The maid soon fell asleep in the cool shade of tree. The monkey jumped down and took the necklace. After the swim, the queen found the necklace missing. The maid confessed that she had fallen asleep on her watch. All the guards searched high and low for the necklace. The chief of the guards understood that since no outsider had entered the garden, one of the monkeys was the thief. He ordered necklaces from bright colored glass beads to be hung on the bushes in the garden. The next morning, all the monkeys saw them and took. The monkey sat watching this quietly. The other monkeys said, "It is sad that you did not get a necklace." She skipped happily and said, "I already have one. You have necklaces with glass beads. Look at my necklace. My necklace is made out of pearls." The trick worked. The guard caught the monkey and returned the necklace to the queen. The king was very pleased he admired the intelligence of the chief guardian. Hungry fox spots a box. Hungry fox hops onto the box. He tries to reach. pushes the box. Now I am as tall as the wall, calls fox. Hungry fox pushes the box. Hungry fox sits on the box. But a tug from duck means he is out of luck. Hungry fox sits on the box. I can reach the cooling pies, cries fox. But Pup and Fat Cat put a stop to that. Hungry fox falls into the box. He heaves himself out. I am back in the box, shouts Happy Fox. One day Aladdin went to the bazaars of Agrabah along with Princess Jasmine and their pets. There were shops selling many kinds of things. The bazaar was crowded. One place was especially crowded. Magician Zafar was showing his magical tricks to the people. Aladdin, let's go to see Magician Zafar's magical tricks, said Jasmine. All right, as you say, said Aladdin. Now Zafar, the wicked magician, had come to the bazaar looking for Aladdin only, so he was very happy when he saw Aladdin and Jasmine. At once he put them under his magic spell. You will obey only me. Give me your magic lamp, said Zafar to Aladdin. Yes, it is all yours. You may take it, said Aladdin and Jasmine. Abu and Ayago were shocked at this. They tried to wake Aladdin and Jasmine, but they were as if in a dream. Suddenly, Abu rubbed Aladdin's magic lamp, and there came the genie. Carry us back to the palace now, ordered Abu. The next moment, they were in their palace, and the magic lamp was safe. Meanwhile, in the bazaars, Magician Zafar was left alone repenting. A little red hen lived in a tree house. Near the tree house, there was a hill. On the hill, there was a hut. The sly fox lived in it. The sly fox wanted to eat the red hen. One day, he hid behind the tree house. Soon, the red hen came out of the house to collect sticks, but she forgot to lock the door. The sly fox quickly went inside the tree house and hid behind the fireplace. Soon, the red hen came in with the sticks. She locked the door, and the sly fox quickly tried to catch her. The red hen flew onto the cupboard. She said, "You will never catch me here." The sly fox began to run around the cupboard in a circle. The red hen saw this and felt dizzy. So the red hen fell off the cupboard. The sly fox quickly put her in his bag. The red hen cut a hole in the bag and came out. The red hen filled the bag with stones and tied up the bag and ran home. When the sly fox was home, he boiled some water in the pan and then turned the bag over it. The stones fell into the boiling water. The water splashed out and burned his face and fingers. He ran away, crying in pain, and he never came back. The fox and the leopard. Once a fox and a leopard were talking about their looks. The leopard was very proud of his shiny fur with his beautiful spots. He always looked down the fox. The leopard said to the fox, "You are very simple and ordinary. You are not handsome like me. Look at me. Look at my spots." The fox greatly admired his bushy tail, which had a white tip. But he knew he was not good looking as a leopard. Seeing the fox square, the leopard got very angry with him. He wanted the fox to agree that he was better looking. But the fox was a wise animal. He said, "Your coat looks smart on the outside, but I have a smart brain inside, and that's the real beauty." Then he walked off. The leopard felt ashamed, as that was the truth. Once upon a time, there lived some wild goats in a cave. Nearby, a wolf lived with his mate. The wolves ate all the goats, one by one. In the end, only one was left. This was the wisest goat. The wolves decided to lay a trap on the goat. The wolf lay be afraid. A dead wolf cannot harm you, said the female. After some thought, the goat agreed. Suddenly, the goat stopped and said, You go ahead, I'll follow you. Hearing the footsteps approaching, the hungry wolf raised his head. Seeing this, the goat ran back to her cave. Now the wolves thought of another trick. The wolf went to the goat and said, You have given me my mate a new life. Seeing you felt better. He wants you to meet you. Thank you. Let us be friends and live in peace. The wolves and goat can never be friends. The goat thought. She replied, Certainly, we will be friends. Let me call my other friends. Who are they? Asked the wolf. The two horns, old grey and young tan, and the big dog, four eyes with their mates, answered the goat. The wolf waited to hear no more. She turned and ran back to her mate, and the goat never saw either of them again. The geese and the cranes. Once there were a group of geese and cranes. They were all very good friends. The geese and the cranes often said, though their names were different, they were similar in likes and dislikes. One day the cranes visited the geese and said, Why don't we fly to the meadow today and have a hearty meal? The geese and the cranes began feeding at the meadow. However, a bird catcher also came there. On seeing them, he thought, I shall catch all the birds. I will sell some and eat rest for dinner. The bird catcher threw his net on the birds. The cranes being light in the weight, flew away at once. The slow geese were caught in the net. They said, Alas, we are similar to those geese, those cranes, only in nature and not in body. Timmy is on his way back from dance class. He sees a group of beavers near the river. They tie the logs together. What are the beavers building? Hello, what are you doing? Asks Timmy. The beaver, we are building a simple bridge. The beaver replies, Why are you building a bridge? Asks Timmy. To making a crossing the river safely and easier, he says. What are you using to build the bridge? Asks Timmy. We are using logs and strong ropes, replies the beaver. What is that drawing for? Asks Timmy. That is the drawing plan for the bridge, says beaver. Timmy looks confused. Aren't the drawings supposed to be colorful? He asks. Well, not all drawings are colorful. Come here, replies the beaver. He takes Timmy to near by a tent. In the tent, Timmy looks around. There are many large boards with drawings and numbers. What are the numbers for? He asks. The numbers are for measurements. They tell you how big the bridge must be, replies the beaver. Oh, who comes up with the plan? Asks Timmy. I do. I measure, plan, drawing and make sure the bridge is built, says the beaver. Who are you? Asks Timmy. I am an architect for the bridge, replies the beaver. When night falls and the moon and the twinkling stars grow, when night falls and the moon and the twinkling stars come out, Oliver wakes up in his wood. Tui, he calls. The spiky hedgehogs and the stripy badgers wake up in the woods too. Sniffle, snuffle, snuffle. They are Oliver's friends. So are the batty bats. Oliver likes to fly along with them in the woods. Oliver and his friends play all night long. When the moon and the twinkling stars grow dim, they go to sleep. One night, Oliver stayed up late. He saw the moon and the twinkling stars grow dim. And then he saw something he had never seen before. The big, round, warm orange sun. Oliver was excited. He wanted to tell the Spiky Hedgehog and the Stripy Badger, but instead there were rabbits and squirrels. Hippity hop went the rabbits. Skitter scattered went the squirrels. They didn't talk to Oliver. Oliver went to tell the batty bats, but instead there were butterflies. Look at the sun, said Oliver, but the butterflies flew away. Flutter, flutter. Oliver felt lonely. He flew back to his branch. He wished he could tell someone about the sun. Oliver lay down on his branch and slept. When night fell and Oliver's friends came out to play in the wood, "Wake up, lazy ones," they shouted. When Oliver opened his eyes and saw all his friends, he felt very happy. Guess what he called? "I saw the big, round, warm orange sun." "Wow," said the prickly hedgehog and the stripy badgers. "We," said the batty bats. "Too," hooted Oliver. There was a poor shoemaker who worked very hard, but he could only make one pair of shoes at one time. He had enough leather only for one pair of shoes. One night he cut the leather and went to sleep. In the morning, he prayed and went to start his work. But to his great wonder, a pretty pair of shoes were ready on the table. The customer brought a pair for handsome money. With the money, he brought leather 2 pairs of shoes. He went to bed early thinking he would complete the work next morning. The next day again he was surprised to see 2 pairs of beautiful shoes sitting on the table. He sold them and brought leather enough to make 4 pairs. This kept happening for some time. One day the shoemaker said to his wife, "We should find out tonight who comes and does my work." That night they hid themselves and watched. At midnight, 2 little elves came and started working on the cutouts. Within minutes, their work was over and they vanished. The shoemaker said to his wife, "These little elves have made us rich. We should do something in return. You make each of them a shirt, a coat, some waistcoat, and a pair of trousers, and each a pair of little shoes." The thought pleased the cobbler. Then everything was ready. They laid them on the table and hid themselves again to watch. At midnight, the elves came dancing and skipping ready for their work. They found the dresses. The elves dressed themselves dancing with joy and vanished. The